And then, so how long do you go before you actually get caught? Because you did some jail time, right?
Yeah, it was. So from 05 to 09 was my run. So when I was wide open, I was doing, everything. And then 09, I got ran up on by the United States Secret Service. They set me up at a UPS store in South Carolina. I show up one day to pick up a package, and they were there waiting on me. Yeah, I didn't go to jail. They didn't even arrest me. They just asked me a bunch of questions, like what I'm doing, all this shit. They put me in their car, drove me to my condo. I had to sign papers. They searched, they took everything, all my equipment, all the computers, anything with removable storage on it, they confiscated. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they took all that. They took all my equipment, my safe, everything I had in my house that was, fraud. They took it all. And then he gave me a card, and he said, I need you to be at this address on this date. It was like a 2 week. It was like within 2 weeks or whatever. And I didn't know what to think. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to jail for sure. Maybe. So I show up. It was the Secret Service headquarters of the Southern District of South Carolina in Columbia, South Carolina. And I walk in, and there's this long table in the middle of the room, and there's all these dudes sitting around the table. You know what I mean? And all these dudes look old and important. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a bunch of young cats. It was older gentlemen. Yeah. And what I'm figuring, and I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they flew people in from D.C., from L.A., from Vegas, from all over the country. Like, all these dudes are head of, like, the fraud departments of, like, for, like, the credit cards and all the shit. They flew them all in. Because I'm sure they had all these operations going on the side of trying to bust all these fucking, you know what I mean? And they thought that I was the in. You know what I'm saying? They thought that they were going to pop the lid off of some kind of, giant fucking through me. But what they didn't understand is I was just by myself. You know what I mean? I had no co-defendants.
They thought it was like a ring.
They did. Yeah. So they sat me down. They interrogated me for like 3.5 hours. They had screenshots of all my posts on the forums that I had been on. Yeah, they had screenshots of cards they had purchased from me that I didn't even know I was selling to the feds. Oh, shit. Yeah. So I didn't know any of that. And then I found all that out when I got in that room. And they broke it all down for me. And they were like, what do you know? Who do you know? We want all your passwords. We want fucking how long you've been doing it. And I bullshitted them. I minimized the fuck out of it. You know what I mean? Like, I've only been doing it like 6 months and fucking... Really, I've been fucking, I'm fucking 4 or 5 years in at this point, millions of dollars in fraud. You know what I mean? But I grew up not telling on myself. Right. You know what I mean? So I learned not to tell on myself. Right. And I'm going to lie. I'm already fucked up, so I'm going to lie. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm going to gamble. I'm going to lie. Yeah. So I minimized and I lied and, yeah. So that was 2009. I walked away and I didn't hear anything until like 2012.
Really?
Yeah. So I started making cards again. You know what I mean?
Back on the same form? Or through a different...
Through my same contact, but I didn't advertise on the forums anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of contact my dude like, listen, I've been off grid for a while. You know what I mean? I owed him like 1,000, 2,000 cards that he had paid me for that I just never sent because everything got confiscated. Yeah. So I took off, and then the girl I was with at the time, my baby's mother left me because of all this shit. Damn. You know what I mean? So I took off from South Carolina, went to Michigan, and I just geared up for another run, started making cards again. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what the fuck they was doing for 3 years. I
don't know. 3 fucking years. It took them 3 years. It took them to indict me. No indictment, no nothing, no warrants, no phone calls, no court dates. 3 fucking years.
God.
Yeah.
So you think they were probably like trying to follow you to see?
I don't think so, because if they were, I was doing it again, and they fucking, you know what I mean? They didn't know and they didn't get me. So
how soon after this did you start back? Like, was it like a year after? Or? It was
about a year.
About a year after?
Yeah, it was about a year. I went on like just a rampage for a year because I had a little bit of money put away, stashed, and I went back to Miami, and I just kind of went crazy for a year. I was, cocaine and strippers, and I was flying private like every other fucking day out to Vegas from Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, me and another buddy of mine, and I was just going ham, because in my mind I'm going to prison.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to prison.
Right.
And with all my charges I was looking at, I'm doing 15 years at least in my mind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to put away a little bit of money for when I do go to prison, and then the rest of this, I'm just gonna fucking, yeah, I'm just gonna have fun. I'm gonna party, yeah. And I did that for about a year, and after like there was no indictment, there was no nothing. After a year, I just didn't know what to do anymore, you know. And that's when I met this chick named Rosalia, and ended up getting married with her. So we're actually still married, separated for 4 years now, but we're still married. And I met her and kind of calmed down, and yeah, kept printing cards, but I wasn't really partying anymore. You know? Yeah.
So I'm just trying to understand, when you print, like when you make cards, right? You just sending them through like USPS, like postal service, or how are you shipping them? How are you getting them?
I was doing UPS Global, because they go, you know, they're worldwide. So does FedEx. But I didn't really have as much success with FedEx as I did with UPS. UPS always went, as long as your customs paperwork was in order, because if it was going, you know, across borders, had to go through customs, and you got to have like what's called a bill of lading, like a BOL, and it's got to be filled out, so they have to know what's in the box and, you know, what company it's coming from and the weight and fucking all that shit.
And did you have like a skeleton company?
I did, yeah. So I set up a company selling refurbished computer peripherals on eBay, and I set up an LLC. I set up a business account. I built a website, like a legitimate functioning website, and then I made had a company logo and, you know, email and fucking fax, and I had an HQ, which is like a virtual office, but you can receive physical mail there, and they'll take your phone calls and all that shit. So I had one of those set up for the company, and then, you know, so everything that was going through customs, if they were to check it and they were to try and verify the company, it had a functioning website, they could call and somebody would answer the phone, and yeah.
Damn, you had it all set up.
Yeah.
Dang.
I wasn't fucking around.
Yeah, for real.